Hey, it's Matt Cook. In this video, I'll tell you a bit about my journey to solve inflexibility for myself. I hope by listening to my story, kind of gives you hope to do it for yourself and get a good idea of, what the lessons you have to go through, learn a bit about the mistakes that can be made along the way, just give you some general guidance for you to become more flexible in your own life. Okay, so as a kid, I was never particularly flexible. Like I could probably reach out and like touch my toes or something like that, but it's not like I could do any feats of flexibility, nothing special, okay? Yeah, my parents weren't flexible in any way, so pretty standard in this day and age, I would suppose. Never something I really cared about, didn't know that it was useful at all to be flexible, just whatever, right? When I went off to university, I had to spend all this time hunched over a desk and a laptop for just the whole day and stuff like that. Back became quite sore, hamstrings were clearly extremely tight, hip flexors extremely tight, and a lot of pain, okay? So I was in this kind of like bad situation. I was like, oh, I think I need to like do something like stretch or something like that, like become more flexible, I guess. That's the kind of like the beginning. It's just like pain, flexibility, stretch. That's where people kind of start the journey. Unfortunately, it got much worse very quickly because I actually had this like gym injury. I kind of like was just stepped wrong or something when I was getting off a machine, and just like I must have hyperextended my knee or pulled my sciatic nerve or like tore a ligament or a tendon in the knee, and then the whole body just disintegrated, like it was just like back pain, hip pain, glute pain, knee pain, ankle pain, pain, okay? And when you get all this pain, you start to like think about it a lot, and you go in your head and you're trying to solve the problem. And yeah, I started to see all these like physiotherapists and doctors, and they're like, oh yes, this stretch, or do this stretch. They're like, oh yes, this teach you these like physical solutions, like do this exercise, do this stretch, hold this for 30 seconds, hold this for 2 minutes. And kind of like I would do all these stretches, and I had this big list of all these stretches that I supposedly needed to do, first from all the doctors and physiotherapists and chiropractors, and then looking up on the internet. It's like, oh, these are the stretches that I need to do. And I'd spend 2 hours a day doing these stretches, thinking, oh, if I just do them enough, eventually the muscles will become long and I'll be healthy and pain-free. And I just kept doing that for so long. Like when you first get into pain and lack of flexibility, you are like, it's like banging your head against a wall, and you're like, why does it keep hurting? Not exactly sure that's how the metaphor works, but anyway, it's just a complete waste of time. Okay, but I did it for years and years and years, and just one physiotherapy after another, and I tried different techniques like active release techniques. It's state of the art, it's like very good treatment for the muscles, just nothing would work. Okay, so spending hundreds of dollars a month on physiotherapists, hours and hours of my life doing stretches, no results whatsoever, pain getting worse all the time. So then, this is going on like 12 years or something like that. I finally made a little bit of progress. Well, not just a little bit of progress, but like, I began to actually make progress when I encountered this guy on YouTube, Era Westerberg. Okay, so Era Westerberg is someone that you need to have in your life, in a way, in a virtual sense, or as a coach, because he introduced me to the idea of actually being conscious of the body. Okay, I'd heard of like the mind-muscle connection in bodybuilding. They're like, if you focus on the muscle, you can make it work better. And I'm like, whoa. But Era told me that the reason it's so hard to get out of pain and so hard to make changes in your body is that you're just not conscious of your body, okay? And, I began to look into, I was doing exercises with Aero and all sorts of stuff like that, making progress physically, but I began to look into all the science and understand how all that worked. And yeah, I understood, like, there really are, like, sense organs, like tiny little sense receptors that are all through your muscles and your joints, and they transmit information to your brain so that you can know the state that your body is in. Like, you can actually feel it. I was like, whoa, you can really feel your body. Okay. And, if you'd told me before, years before, like, do you know you can be conscious of your body? I'd be like, I already am conscious of my body. It's like, no. Okay. What happens is when you start to get in a lot of pain, whether it's emotional pain or whether it's physical pain or whether it's just like this anxiety, like crazy thoughts racing around your head, existential pain, you can really disconnect from your body, right? Because there's all this pain that it's like perceivable, like in your muscles. It's kind of like where it's held. It's probably held in your organs as well, but I'm not too knowledgeable on that topic. And you kind of like disconnect from your body, right? Alexander Lowen, creator of bioenergetics, has a great book on this. He talks about this concept of abandonment of the body. You abandon the body, right? You take away your focus from the body, and you put your focus on all sorts of silly nonsense, like your imagination, the past and the future, and just all sorts of like egoic things that are just, I suppose, ultimately not healthy, because you need to be conscious of your body, or it just decays and begins to die, basically. Like, your muscles are cells, and if you're not conscious of them, they die. And they don't get like blood and stuff, and then they're all like inflamed or whatever, trying to heal, but you just don't give them any conscious attention, so they're just like, right? So I was doing this, the reason it hadn't been working for me, like why I hadn't become more flexible even though I was doing these stretches, is because I was doing in this mainstream way that I explained yesterday. And if you haven't seen yesterday's video, you should definitely check that out, because it's a good 10-12 minutes that talks about why mainstream traditional stretching methods don't work. I was doing unconscious stretching. Okay, like I would just like launch into this supposedly good position, which is proven by yoga science, or like you can see that gymnasts do it, so of course it's good. I was just spending so much time doing these and just like, okay, well, I'm doing the position, aren't I? Like, the muscles are supposed to get better. But Aero helped me understand, it's like, you gotta become conscious of the body, okay? So the way I did exercises, be it stretches or strengtheners or just movement in general, totally changed from trying to like magically create this change in the body by doing this simple exercise, like this direct causation mentality that most of us have, to going into a more exploratory mindset, where I was just like observing my body and analyzing and understanding it, and just becoming conscious of all my different muscles and joints, and really understanding how they work. So I started to make proper progress, like the pain started to decrease, like muscles started to work better, that became reasonably more flexible, like made some progress. I ran into another guy, I found him on the internet, his name was Egwin Ertor, went to Croatia, did like a retreat with him, like a movement retreat, showed me all these amazing ideas about efficient movement patterns. He's got this way of moving that, I used to be all like, duh, 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 duh. And he's like, no, the body moves like this, and he showed me all these like, how to move efficiently and gracefully, and he told me so much more about this emotional side and mind side, and what this journey of reconnecting with the body and emotions and thoughts, and just more like almost in the spiritual realm, but more just like consciousness, more about like body consciousness, emotions consciousness, thought consciousness, general consciousness in general, right? And I really started to understand that this is like the key to improving the body. It's like you cannot just do these like unconscious exercises that you get from the physiotherapists, like, and expect them to work. And that's why people remain in pain for like years and years and even decades, and like, why doesn't it work? I'm doing all the things that people online say and stuff like that. You know, and everything that like a yoga teacher or a gymnast or a dancer or some flexibility guru who's on YouTube, all they tell you is the form, right? They never tell you anything about how to feel inside your body and how to relate what you're feeling to your experience of life and truly understand anything, because, you know, they're what I would call naturals, right? They didn't go into this like splitting apart of the psyche and, you know, taking in of all this pain or anything like that. They were okay all the time, and it's very easy to become flexible when your joints are nice and loose and there's no weird stuff spinning around in your mind, and anxiety and stuff like that, right? So if you're in pain, you really can't learn that much from them. So with Aero, I started to get this like independence, right? Like I could actually take control of the progress that I was making with my body, right? Like I needed to talk to Aero for 4 years, really. Like I needed to just ask questions. Like, I felt this, what is this? What muscle is that? How does that work, right? But eventually I achieved this like independence, right? And it's where independence is like a very important goal in movement training and flexibility training and getting out of pain. It's where like you don't need a teacher anymore to tell you anything, because you understand that all the information is present to you, right? It's available. You only need to look inside your mind. You only need to look at your emotions. You only need to look at your past. You only need to look at your character, your convictions. You only need to look at your muscles and joints, and it's everything is there. And you can slowly just, you know, put it all in the correct order instead of in this like chaos of irrationality and nonsense, so this tangled mess of blah, right? So you just kind of like make everything move correctly, and not only do you move better, your emotions calm down and your thoughts become more clear and your character becomes more developed and correct, right? So, you know, flexibility training is, if you're coming at it from, you know, trying to solve a problem, it's not just about doing these physical exercises, okay? From a physiotherapist, it's like it's not going to work that way, okay? It needs this like mind, body, emotions, what Gurdjieff would call the fourth way approach to fixing everything, right? It's like coming back together, like coming back to center in your life. Rebuilding everything that is shattered apart, okay? So after I started to feel better, I was like, you know, this is the best stuff ever. Like, like, yeah, this is so good. Like, I was going to become an engineer when I was young. I have a first class honors degree in aeronautical engineering. I was like, that's going to be my destiny. But after I did this, I was like, this is the stuff. Like, this is the fun stuff to teach. This is the fun stuff to do. So I began to, I created my first course and I wrote my first book. So if you haven't seen my course, it was just specifically about back pain. It's called The Back Pain Miracle. It's just thebackpainmiracle.com. Comes with my book, Conscious Movement, comes with a whole bunch of mindset videos and these 15 awesome movements that get you reconnecting to your body, okay? And give you the experiences of pain leaving, right? So that you can go, oh, I get it now, that's how it works. And then you can achieve a level of independence where you can kind of like continuously and on a daily basis almost get pain out of your body and become more flexible, etc. Although, you know, I after I had about 1,000 students, I asked them, you know, what else is of interest to you? Like, and you know, people were like, I want flexibility, I want strength. And a lot of people also expressed that they still wanted to know more about sciatica as well. And you know, strength and sciatica, they're coming, but like right now, what I'm putting out is a flexibility training, right? So this is I think this is the very first flexibility training to exist that isn't just about mindlessly pulling on your muscles to get flexibility, right? Like, I look at all the flexibility programs out there, and they're like, all the teachers, they're like, look how flexible I am. I'm so flexible. And then they're like, look at my perfect form, right? And they're like, if you just do these stretches, you're gonna get out of pain and become very flexible. And part of the reason I probably started to create courses was I was just so like resentful of what currently existed, that I was like, I'm gonna revolutionize this whole industry and teach conscious movement, conscious flexibility. Okay, so this video is a second in a series. Well, I guess I can conclude the story just a little bit more, So, I got this level of independence, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to take this further. I'm going to become properly flexible, like not just a little bit flexible. I'm going to get some good flexibility. So I went to Russia and I studied ballet, and I went. I'm actually here now. I went to Turkey, not purposefully, but I happened to be in Turkey, and I walked into a dojo, martial arts dojo, looking to do boxing. And I was like, do you do boxing? It says on the window you do boxing. They're like, no boxing. I'm like, well, kickboxing? Do you do kickboxing? They're like, no kickboxing. They're like, Taekwondo. I'm like, Taekwondo? Okay, I'll do Taekwondo. And I was in very good luck because the teacher there was two teachers. One of the teachers he just won a silver medal in Taekwondo for the deaf category in the Olympics, okay? So just because you're deaf doesn't mean you're really that much different from people who aren't deaf. It's like a sincerely legitimate league. It's an Olympic medal. So he is amazing at Taekwondo. I've sparred with him, and so I've learned flexibility from a Taekwondo approach and a ballet approach. So I've learned all these precise, correct anatomical ways of doing things, done them for myself, and I've also used this conscious movement approach that's in my book and in the Back Pain Miracle course, and it's just a really good approach. Like it's really the first approach that someone who's coming from a background of pain, bad mobility, and bad flexibility, it's the first approach that they can really use to reliably and consistently get results. Okay. It's not going to be something that they just try and give up. It's going to be an approach that they're like, oh, finally, I've found something, and it's going to work, So I've filmed a product for that course, and it teaches these precise forms, and it also has these wonderful, supported, gentle variations of the stretches that are like very relaxing, totally safe, and allow you to just like very slowly go into the stretches and do this conscious movement approach, okay? So just in celebration of the launch, and I'm putting out a few flexibility videos. I put one out yesterday. Definitely go watch that if you haven't seen it. Here's today's. Tomorrow I haven't decided what I'm going to put out, but it's going to be a good one as well. And then 2 days from now, the course is going to launch. There's going to be a really nice promo video showing everything, explaining the big idea. And I hope you will look forward to it and pick it up when it comes out, because I guarantee you're absolutely going to love it. Okay, so I'll see you in tomorrow's video, and then the big day, 2 days from now, that's when the program comes out. This could be the big day where if you've been hoping for flexibility, it's finally going to come to you. Okay, so have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow and the next day for the course. Have a good one.